We are back with our fourth round of the Alpensee World Celebration Tournament. I'm Yuna, and this is Ducky. How you doing,
Hi
Ducky?
everyone. Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm excited to cast another round here in our Alpensee World Celebration Tournament. And I heard that there's some really unique stuff coming up as well. It's again 12 unique Pokemon. I'd love to see that.
Absolutely. Got some really fun teams today, I gotta say. Gotten to feature a lot of really fun and diverse stuff. Not seeing a lot of that,
Hmm.
classic Charizard, Aerodactyl, Kingambit stuff. We've only seen that once so far, and I think that's very fun and very interesting.
Yeah, and it just speaks to how some little changes, like the introduction of the Life Orb and some new Pokemon, just changes up the meta a lot. Like a Grimmsnarl, a Life Orb, a Mega Staraptor, like all of that kind of stuff just comes together and really changes the format a lot. And suddenly this Pokemon is viable, and that strategy, and two new teams, and 10 new teams. And that's already just enough to just change up the meta and how it feels, right? We're kind of like in a Rec MA with an asterisk because it's Rec MB, but like with some new introduction, not a lot of changes that we're used to from older formats, and it still feels like a completely different format, right? So that really just speaks to the value of these kind of items and Pokemon.
Absolutely. Just recently, we were still hearing that this meta game is all solved and stuff, but we're here seeing teams we've never seen before. As we now see the teams that we are covering here in this round.
Yeah, it is that Mega Staraptor and Mega Delphox team that has recently popped up and is piloted by Tigerozi here. So with that Whimsicott obviously being able to help both the Delphox and the Staraptor setup, the Charm is really nice to get that contrary attack boost, as well as getting the tailwind up for either of the Pokemon to just be able to sweep. You have the Guardian with the Life of it synergizes really well with either Staraptor or Delphox when they Mega, and you have the Glimora with the Toxic Debris to also combine with the Whimsicott and the Kingambit, obviously a classical Pokemon, to punish any Intimidates or any debuffs coming or trying to hit into the opponent.
Exactly. On the other side, on DaniVgC's side, we are seeing the Basket Legion Pelipper, Archaudon, Charizard, Venusaur, Grimmsnarl. So leaning a lot into these weather archetypes, into the sun as well as the rain. I've been seeing that pop up more and more recently, bringing both the sun and the rain, having tools for the rain as well as for the sun with the Venusaur, for example, with the chlorophyll, as well as having that supportive option of the Grimmsnarl, bringing those screens, the Spirit Break, the Parting Shot to support this team all around very well.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see how Danny is going to pilot that as well, because they have free reign over the weather, but Tiger Rosie obviously has a lot of like attack coming into the into the Archaludon, into the Venusaur. For example, the Sun mode does really not like to see the Delphox, but might like to face into the Staraptor here. But Rain is also really good, but you can't really bring the Archaludon against the Garchomp and Staraptor because those just snipe it away. So really just a battle of the wits here, and who is gonna take claim here and take the initiative into the opponent here. And I'm kind of hoping to also see a Mega Venusaur, but I don't think this is the matchup for it, because it's really cool to see that Mega Charizard and Mega Venusaur are combined on a team here. A really interesting
Yes.
choice, as well as just not having a Protect here. But we'll see that it is just our game one.
As we're hopping into the game here, we are seeing our leads. We see the Charizard Venusaur on Danny's side, as we see the Staraptor and Glamora on Tigerozi's side.
Yeah, and immediately it is a modest Charizard compared to, in this case, which I have a wrong team sheet. Um, I think it's a timid Glimora, so this speaks for Glimora possibly being faster than a Charizard immediately and threatening with a Power Gem, which leads the Venusaur to be in a right position here. Does it just go for the Sleep Powder here into the Glimora to try and help the Charizard to get an attack off? Are you going to go for the Earth Power to try and break through its Sash here? There's a lot of options that you can really go for, as well as Raptors still being there. You don't want it to get a lot of close combats off to just get special defense boost, because how are you going to push through that? So a lot of decision making here from both players here.
Absolutely. As we just see that Venusaur now switching out, sending in the Archaludon here on Danny's side as we see the Mega Evolution on the Staraptor going out, now changing its ability from the Intimidate to the contrary. As we also see the Charizard just Mega Evolving here, bringing out the Sun, threatening a lot more damage suddenly with those Fire-type stabs. Drought comes out as we see Dual Wing Beat going into that Archaludon, triggering that stamina twice here. Very well positioned for Danny. There goes the Heat Wave into both of these Pokemon, dealing more than 50% into this Staraptor. And the Power Gem now coming out from this Glimmora that's actually modest, just picking up a one-hit KO with the crit into the Charizard.
I think we can both agree that the crit was unnecessary. Glimmora just
like-
kind of styling on Charizard there.
Absolutely, it likely did not matter at all. It is modest, so this Power Gem does just so much damage. We do have the Venusaur coming in here now, though. With that Chlorophyll ability, it is going to be fast and threatening to just, put some Pokemon here to sleep, potentially.
Yeah, or possibly even getting the KO, because now the Sash is broken because of the Heat Wave from the Charizard, which obviously went first there, so that inclines for a bit of speed investment on the Charizard there to at least outspeed that modest Glimmora there. And obviously Sleep Powder into the Staraptor could be good to try and have the Archaludon be able to tank a hit, but also Earth Power into Glimmora is a possible option here, but we see that the Glimmora opts to switch out, not wanting to be KO'd here as it goes into the Whimsicott.
That's right, Whimsicott coming in, but the Venusaur does go for that Sleep Powder into the Staraptor, putting it to sleep here. Flash Cannon now going out into the Whimsicott, just picking up a one-hit KO into it. Very well
Wow.
played. That Flash Cannon would have likely picked up the KO on the Glimmora, but instead came in and picked up the KO onto the Whimsicott instead.
Yeah, because the Focus Sash can only be used on the Pokemon once, right? You have to kind of decide between Whimsicott and Glimmora. Whimsicott holding the Octoberry leads to the Flash Cannon being able to one-hit KO the Whimsicott there, because they usually can't really run a lot of bulk here, and obviously Archaludon with Flash Cannon stab, that is a pretty strong attack. With the Staraptor also being asleep for one turn here, the question is it going to wake up this turn? Is it going to be able to get an attack off? But also, Venusaur and Archaludon are looking really, really good to just get 2 KOs here immediately. The Staraptor does not have any special defense boosts yet, so Slush Bomb could possibly be enough into the Staraptor, as well as the Flash Cannon into Glimmora, or vice versa. Maybe it's just an Earth Power into Glimmora and a Flash Cannon into the Staraptor, and we'll see it's a Slush Bomb into Staraptor to get the KO.
That's right, Staraptor just goes down to that Sea Powder as the Power Gem comes out into the Venusaur, not dealing too much damage. As we also see the Flash Cannon go into this Glimmora, just picking up another KO. Danny is just cleaning up the board here.
Yeah, interestingly, Tiger going for that Power Gem instead of a possible Sludge Bomb, which would have done a bit more, or an Earth Power into the Archaludon. So maybe calling that there is a Pelipper in the back and trying to punish a possible eShot play. But with the Garchomp now out for Tigerozi, it is really difficult to try and win this, as Tigerozi is going to forfeit here, and Danny is going to take that game 1.
Very dominant game 1 from Danny. The positioning was so well done. So much damage going out of those Pokemon. Just
And
overall very well played.
And despite losing the Charizard that turn 1, where we went like, oh no, this Charizard is going down there, just one Heat Wave was enough for it to honestly just leave its mark here, and having the Sun Up for the Venusaur to also just get a Sleep Powder or a Slush Bomb up. It is really huge that Danny got the snipe on the Whimsicott. If the Whimsicott came out anyway and got like a Tailwind off or a Charm, obviously Tigerozi may have a bit more fighting chance, just being able to outspeed the Venusaur and KO it that way, but with the Whimsicott just being gone immediately, it was kind of hard for Tigerozi to come back here.
Absolutely. Catching that Whimsicott on the switch was quite crucial. Just going down as it doesn't have that focus sash, doesn't even get to survive that hit, and go in with that prankster ability to get a tailwind and get the speed control or anything like that. No, it just goes down. Once again, very well positioned from Danny.
Yeah, just putting out pressure consistently on both slots, and just despite single target hits, the one heat wave again just did a lot of work here. And we are gonna go into our game 2 with any possible adjustments here.
We see the same lead going out from Danny, as we do see an adjustment from Tigerozi, this time going for that Whimsicott in the lead instead of the Glamora.
Yeah, it is immediately threatening, obviously, a KO onto the Whimsicott with the such bomb, but Tailwind Dual Wing Beat could be enough to just get the KO onto the Venusaur as well. It is a Mega Venusaur, so it does indicate that it possibly has some bulk, but I'm curious to see if the Staraptor here has enough damage to just get the KO on just the Venusaur anyway. There's obviously the possibility of Light Screen or any Charm shenanigans, but as Tigerozi, ideally you'd want to get the Tailwind up because that is the strongest you can do against them. And as Danny, you really need to see if you can tank it as the Venusaur decides to play it safe and switch out into the Archaludon.
Absolutely. Maybe predicting that another dual wing beat, just like in the first game, comes out here into that Venusaur slot, potentially getting those stamina boosts if it is that dual wing beat play, as both of our Pokemon here go for the Mega Evolution, the Charizard and the Staraptor. Charizard, of course, getting that Sun Up now, threatening a lot of damage once again with those stab fire-type moves, as the Staraptor simply goes for Protect, and we see a Tailwind come out from the Whimsicott. Heat Wave now going out into the Whimsicott. The Aqua Berry does lower the damage. Is it enough though? Yes, the Whimsicott does manage to hang on here in this turn 1.
Yeah, this is a really good position now for Tigerozi, opting to just play it safe and go for the Tailwind instead of just having any attack come out from Staraptor, just saying, okay, I'm gonna protect here. If you have any damage trying to come into me, I can just Light Screen the next turn, possibly. And if you do that switch, like Daddy has done here, they're now free to go for any Charm Close Combats or any combination like that Light Screen, for example.
Exactly. Going first because of that Prankster, but also it does have the Tailwind, as we see the close combat come out from the Staraptor. This Archaludon with no defense boost this time takes a lot of damage here as the Weather Ball just goes out into the Staraptor that cannot protect this turn, dealing a good bit of damage, but that special defense boost from the close combat manages to help it hold on through this double up here.
Yeah, and crucially, the Whimsicott is still on the field. Now, obviously, you could go for another close combat into the Archaludon, but nothing is stopping you from just going for Charm as well. So, Charm Dual Wing Beat, for example, is a really strong double up here into the Charizard, essentially, because you just double your damage from Dual Wing Beat here. Or you could even go for Roost, because now what are they really going to do? They can't really KO you. You can try to go for Moonblast to get the KO onto the Archaludon as well. Really dominant positioning for Tigerozi, and Danny has to try and protect the Archaludon here.
As we just see the Roost come out from this Staraptor with the Light Screen up and the special defense boosts up, of course, it is really hard for Danny to deal a lot of damage into the Staraptor. So the Roost is just completely safe. As we saw, I think it was the Moonblast going to the Archaludon that protected, and the Heat Wave connecting to both of these Pokemon, taking down the Whimsicott.
Yeah, and Tigerozi now has to show what they have in back here. Ideally, it is possibly that Garchomp or Glamora to try and hit that Charizard with that threatening rock move, because now you're able to just go for another close combat, get another special defense boost, just make yourself unkillable. While unkOable, while that Glamora just comes out here, and now with that last turn of Tailwind is able to threaten that Charizard. But Sun is also about to run out. It only has 2 more turns left, This is a rather difficult position for Danny still, but a double protect or like a protect with the Charizard, maybe like a switch with the Arcalon is possible. But what is there in the back that could possibly tank a close combat or even the double up with the Power Gem from Gilmora? Mm,
Exactly. There really isn't a lot, but there will possibly be a switch out from this Charizard to, keep it alive and keep the sun up for as long as possible. The Venusaur could maybe survive that double up, as we do indeed see it, but the Pelipper comes in this time. A new Pokemon that we haven't seen in this series yet, as we see a double switch actually come out with the Venusaur and the Pelipper entering the field. Close combat connecting into this Venusaur. It takes it like a champ. But what is this Glamora gonna go for? It is the Power Gem. It goes into the Venusaur slot here too, meaning this Venusaur just takes that double up. Tailwind now also ran out.
mm-hmm. And now the Charizard obviously can come back in, so the Venusaur is able to get any like sleep powders off here. Notably, the Power Gem going into the Venusaur there puts it rather low compared to if it went into the Pelipper. Maybe as Danny, you were hoping that the Power Gem does go into the Pelipper to maybe get a free switch back into the Charizard, but Tigerozi just playing it pretty safe, just going, hey, I'm just going to double up into that stuff because that's just protected. As the Venusaur does switch out here into the Arcalon again.
Close combat going into that Archaludon again, just picking up the KO. As the Staraptor, of course, gets a couple more boosts through its contrary close combat. Power Gem connecting into that Pelipper, just picking up a one-hit KO.
Really speaks for the power of Modest Lamora to just be able to one-shot a bulky Pelipper there with the Subsperry. Just saying, like, no, I'm just gonna straight up KO you. And now the Charizard and Venusaur coming out means that Danny is up to their last two Pokemon, and it's looking really, really rough. Tigerozi still has an entire Pokemon in the back that we have not, that we have yet to see. While the Staraptor has like what +3, +4 special defense, and the Glamora still has its Sash intact. So this is reminiscent of Game 1, just way, way worse for Danny in this case.
Exactly. We had a dominant performance coming out from Danny, and now Tigerozi just showing us how it can go as well. And this Glamora just hangs on through that Earth Power thanks to the light screen as the dual Wing Beat goes into the Venusaur and just picks up a KO. Heatwave now going out, moving before the Glamora here, taking it out. But this Charizard is sitting here 2 versus 1. Will it be able to swing the tides with this Staraptor being at like a +3 special defense, +4 now, I think, in fact, as well as a Garchomp coming in. We just see the forfeit come out from Danny.
Yeah, Garchomp is not the Pokemon you want to see as Danny there, because that just kind of locks you out the moment the Rockslide connects, or even the Dragon Claw and Close Combat combination, or like the dual Wing Beat Dragon Claw. There's a lot that Tiger did really well there, and Danny just had to kind of play right their game. The turn 1 especially, just not going for that dual Wing Beat is so smart on Tiger's side, and just saying, hey, I just need that Tailwind up, and after that it's my game, and it worked out perfectly by Danny just going for the switch, playing it passive, letting that Whimsicott stay one more turn, even 2 more turns, because they didn't attack into it, just trying to double up and get rid of the Staraptor. But at that point it was too late, because the close combat plus light screen, it's just too much. It's just too much.
Absolutely. That Staraptor really showing its defensive capabilities here against those special attackers, especially with that Whimsicott hacking on through that Occa Berry, bringing in the light screen after bringing in the Tailwind too, just helping the Staraptor take everything and heal itself up back with the Roost.
Then yeah, the boost is just so oppressive. Just being like, yes, I got the Staraptor down into the red, and then just 50% back of its HP, and you don't even do 50% necessarily with one singular attack. And it's like, it feels like really uphill battle. You need like a crit at that point to really come back. And Danny did not get it, but maybe game 3 is gonna change it up. They're gonna change it up possibly and just get the KO straight up, or just not have them play this game. And we see the best Legion power lead on Danny's side.
Absolutely. Same lead as in game 2 from Tigerozi, but Danny deciding to switch it up here, going with that Rain Core in that Basket Legion, in that Pelipper. The Basket Legion, crucial here, does go to the -1 because of that Intimidate coming out from the Staraptor here.
Yeah, notably this Pelipper obviously has Hurricane here, so Hurricane a really good attack from Danny's side to try and get damage down onto the Staraptor, or even that Whimsicott. Maybe it's enough to get the KO here, and currently the Basque Legion with the Scarf is obviously threatening to just get the one-hit KO there, or like a possible one-hit KO with Rage Crash, but because of the Intimidate, as I said, it is not going to happen. It's still threatening to be the fastest Pokemon in the field. And that's the most important aspect, especially if a Tailwind later on runs out. This Basque Legion could just go and hit really, really hard with fast specs. But we see this Raptor just going for the Mega Evolution here.
The important thing to note is that close combat is not very effective into either of these Pokemon. In fact, it doesn't hit the Basque Legion at all, as the Staraptor just goes for the Protect here, allowing this Whimsicott to go for the Tailwind, get that speed control on its side. Completely unpunished for now. The Wave Crash going into the Staraptor slot as the Pelipper just matches the pace.
Yeah, saying, hey, you want the Tailwind up? I'm sure you can get it. I'm gonna match that. And now, basically, we're in the same position as before. Notably, though, Whimsicott has Charm, obviously, to boost the Staraptor's attack, but here in this position specifically, you can also use it to drop the attack from the opposing Basque Legion. Or maybe if you say the Hurricane is going to do way, way more into me than that Wave Crash could ever, then you could also go for that Light Screen. It's really important to see how Tiger is going to play out this turn, because this turn is going to be the decider between the Staraptor is going to get its attacks off and really just go the full close combat mode and tank a lot of hits, or not. And it is that Light Screen that they opt for.
Exactly, there it is. The Wave Crash does still connect into the Staraptor, does not pick up a KO, despite the rain boost on it. That -1 is just too much. Dual Wing Beat coming out from the Staraptor, not taking a KO either, but dealing significant chip as the Hurricane comes out. Is the Light Screen enough to help a tank that? No, the Staraptor just goes down to double up here.
Yeah, really strong double up here from Danny's side. That is what they need to get rid of this Staraptor, as they did here. Despite being -1, they did over half of their HP into the Staraptor. Because Staraptors tend to have to be jolly or adamant and still have a lot of bulk, but they can't like actually invest too much into bulk. They have a bit of bulk investment, but not a lot. It is the Glamora coming out for Tigerozi's side. And Glamora is looking pretty good here to just try and snap the Pelipper here. The Basque Legion locked into Wave Crash sounds a bit bad at first, because obviously that's going to bring the Glamora down to Sash. But Toxic Debris may be helpful here for anything that's in the back, like the Charizard here. But with Basque Legion Pelipper alone on the field currently and doing a lot of damage, I'm curious if like Daddy even cares if either of the Pokemon really go down, because the damage has been done. The main threat of the Mega Staraptor has been dealt with, and whatever is in the back just has to deal with whatever Tiger has left.
Absolutely. As we just see the switch out come out from the Basque Legion into the Charizard, as well as from the Pelipper too. So just opting for that double switch to Charizard now sitting here without the Mega Evolution, but it goes unpunished as the Glamora just goes for that Spike Shield. Moonblast coming out into the Charizard, not into the Archalder, not giving that free boost. Not dealing too much chip, but it does do some damage, and this Charizard has no way to sustain itself, meaning this is gonna stick.
Yeah, and it's one turn of Tailwind left for Tiger's side here, and suddenly it's looking a bit better here for Tiger, because now that Power Gem is just going to be able to KO the Charizard here, possibly. Caladon is in a pretty tough position, because it does do a lot of damage, but both of the opponents, the Pokemon here from Tiger's side, are just able to kind of like hit into it without worrying about the stamina at all. Earth Power and Moonblast together are gonna do a lot of damage here to the Arcaladon side still, but with the Basque Legion in the back, all you kind of want to do is try and get rid of the Whimsicott, which is gonna go for the Moonblast to the Arcaladon here.
Absolutely. It doesn't have the protect, so it cannot stall out this turn to bring back that tailwind. As we see the Weather Ball go out into the Gilmora, very interesting. It's a water type Weather Ball, but without the Mega Evolution, it just doesn't pick up the KO. As we also see the Earth Power, we're expecting something like the protect from the Charizard. Going into this Archaludon, Electroshot now coming out. Rain is up, meaning it will immediately connect. Which target does Danny choose here? It is the Glamora slot. The Glamora goes down to this double up. Danny still has all 4 Pokemon on their side.
Notably now, the Tailwinds are petered out on both sides, and Danny or Tiger can go for another Tailwind, which is kind of what the Garchomp needs to get the KOs here possibly, though it is also free to just go for Rock Slide Moonblast here in the combination, get the double KO, and then it's all about how are you going to deal with the Basque Legion and Pelipper in the back. And that Tailwind from that Whimsicott looking really, really good now. So suddenly, just because of that double up with Moonblast and Earth Power, the Arcaladon is really, really low, and low enough for the Whimsicott to just get the KO and the Garchomp to sweep the rest of the team.
Absolutely, this Garchomp does look threatening. You cannot count Tigerozi out here just yet. As like you said, the Garchomp does look like it could do a lot of damage into Danny's team here. Charizard just going for the protect as we do just see the Rock Slide coming out here from this Garchomp, not dealing too much damage, giving it the stamina boost. Is the Moonblast enough here is the big question. There it is, the Moonblast comes out. It goes into the Archaludon and it picks up the KO.
A really smart play by Danny's side here because the Pelipper does have the White Guard. The Garchomp is only really able to KO the Charizard if it is going for that Rock Slide, and Pelipper kind of denies it. So despite the weather not really being something that Charizard wants it to be, White Guard is the entire reason Pelipper is going to stay here on the field with the Charizard. This Rock Slide is not going to be able to connect into the Charizard here, so Charizard free to go for a Heat Wave or a Weather Ball. Weather Ball even able to KO the Whimsicott here in this position, which you kind of want if the Basque Legion is supposed to be the last Pokemon to sweep the Garchomp. And with the last Specs boost, that can definitely happen in the long run. But Tiger is not out yet. Charm is going to help into the Basque Legion later on. The light screen is still up, so maybe that is enough to be able to tank the Weather Ball entirely here and just get another like Moonblast or Rock Slide, like another tap off just in general, and just help the Garchomp try and break through this combination of Pokemon. And the Charizard Mega Evolves.
Yes, we finally see this Charizard Mega Evolving. The White Guard does come out like you said it would. Light Screen getting used from the Whimsicott. It doesn't happen though, since the Light Screen is still up. The Dragon Claw dealing a lot of damage, but just missing out on the KO. Weather Ball now connecting into that Whimsicott that has the Aqua Berry. Will this be enough? We saw the Heat Wave earlier, not picking up the KO, but the Weather Ball doesn't pick it up either.
And now the light screen wears off. So honestly, a bit of a misturn from Tiger's side. If they realized that the light screen was up, that Moonblast might have been enough to get the KO onto the Charizard here. But the Dragon Claw obviously does a lot of damage into Charizard. Sometimes I forget the lever does a lot of damage with the Garchomp. So now it's all about, can Tiger pivot or pilot their last 2 Pokemon against Danny's last 2 Pokemon, which is going to be the Pelipper and the Basque Legion, obviously. You want to table it up to ideally deal with the Basque Legion in the back, as it comes up right here.
Exactly, the Tailwind does come up. No White Guard this time, meaning that this Rock Slide comes in unpunished. Very good predict from Tigerozi that Danny does not go for the White Guard this time around. The Pelipper does hang on to its life though. The Citrus Berry goes through as it just matches the pace with the Tailwind. Important thing to note, this Basket Legion is coming in here into the sun being up, meaning that its water types tags are going to be halved.
Yeah, however, I don't think that is the attack that you really worry about if you see an opposing Scarf Legion. It is that last respect that it can possibly lock itself into and try and get the KO on Garchomp. Notably, Whimsicott is still alive. It can go for that Charm, it can go for another Moonblast as the Garchomp protects, and it really comes down to this turn, what the players are going to predict that the other person is going to go for. If they, one of those people gets it right, what the other person is going to go for, they are going to win the game on the spot here. So really hard. This is down to the cards. Whatever the players decide to go for is what they decide to go for. It is that
we
Charm.
We do see the Charm. The Charm lowering its attack by 2. But Danny does go for the last respects into that Whimsicott slot as the Dragon Claw connects into the Basket Legion slot. And now it's just this Pelipper versus this Life Orb Garchomp as a Hurricane comes in, but it misses since it's only 50 accurate in the sun.
This is a really crucial miss, obviously, for Tiger, because the Hurricane is going to do a lot of damage into the Garchomp there, including the Life Orb Recall. It is just going to be the Rock Slide hit to the Pelipper, and it's going to get the KO here!
The KO!
So Game 3 just goes to Tiger here. Really, really well played. Also going for that Rock Slide when there was the threat of the White Guard, obviously, but just getting it right turn after turn. Really, really well played by Tiger here in the end. And that is kind of what that was a really good way to bounce back, honestly.
Absolutely. What an explosive match here. It looked so back and forth. We had an amazing series here, honestly. One game dominated by Tigerozi, one game dominated by Danny, and then in that game 3, we saw an all-out clash from both sides. One side taking control, and then the other taking it back and forth and back and forth. In the end, it came down to such intricate little details. It was so close and so well played from both of these sides.
And notably, the Charm, obviously, for example, going into the Basket Legion, expecting that the Basket Legion is going to target the Garchomp, but then the Basket Legion just targets the Whimsicott, predicting that, oh, it's going to be a Protect Moonblast. And no, it wasn't. The Garchomp just went for the attack there, and honestly, that just kind of won them the game, including the Hurricane miss. So, really, really well played by both of our players here. Just a really good back and forth and an exciting series, as you said. And I'm honestly excited to see who of them is obviously going to make top cut, who is going to continue going forward. And we are going into a break now. And I heard that this is your last match for today. So thank you a lot in honor of Alphazay and everyone's watching the stream. Thank you, Yuna, for joining as our caster.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me again. I really had a lot of fun today casting these matches. I hope to see you guys all again sometime soon on the Alphazay stream. Thank you so much for having me again, Ducky and Alphazay.
Thanks for being here. We're going into our break. Until then.
Bye.
My heart